This one? Okay. Today we want to continue with an hour with the omnipotent God.
Aji itiabi ek gonta sob para ishor logote milisabo.
In fact, we should be spending more time with God.
Hosa koile mane ishor logote time homoy to khali ek gonta nohoy gana bishi thakibo
And I'm
lagi.
so glad that the region has planned this revival meeting, so we are able to have more time with God, to connect with the God of all possibility, the Almighty God, the Omnipotent God.
Ito region office khan phalepra inika meeting arrange kuri digna sob pari gana thakha ishor logote amakhan inika connection time homoy milible karne planning kuri dia to dhanyabad dibele mon ase.
This morning, I want to introduce this man to you. His name, Winston Walker Foster.
Ito pra azi ito manu ke apna khan ke janai dibele mon ase Benson Walker Foster.
He is an American lawyer.
Ito tay Amerika laga ukil asile.
He used to serve in the White House as the deputy White House counsel or advisor during the first 6 months of President Bill Clinton administration.
Bill Clinton laga president hoy gana thakha temte itu manu to hele soi mena karne tai to hele White House te kam kuri thaki.
So to be able to work in the White House, you must be a very top lawyer.
Tate White House te kam kuri bile karne ekdam bodhi manu hobo lagi jai.
He was a legal advisor to President Lincoln.
Itu pra president pra ki kam kuri bo lage ki kam na kuri lwe thik law lagan hingsap te advice dibo paribo
Now,
lage.
one interesting thing about Winston is that he and Clinton actually were childhood friends. They even went to the same kindergarten. Of course, they didn't realize that, hey, it's you, Winston, and hey, you, Bill. You know, years later they met together, and now they are working, one as a president, one as a lawyer in the White House.
Itu dujon laga kotha to hele itu Benson aro Bill Clinton soto time te eki logot khili gna aha ase eki school te jai gna thakha ase soto time te hey you Bill Clinton hey you Benson koi gna bi mili gna aha thakha asle
No?
dangor hwa tem ditu ekta to president hoi gna
It's so
ase
interesting.
ekta to ukil hoi gna lok paise.
So interesting that this childhood friend will one day be working for the White House, the highest level of leadership in America.
Ekdam khushi ekta to hele itu sukra soto duita khili gna thakha to hele tai khan jawan hwa tem te America laga inika sabse ucha laga office te ekilot kam kuribo para to hele.
Now, while working at the White House, Winston Walker was a very, very hardworking person. Worked 12 hours a day or most, sometimes 6 or 7 days in a week. He was such a hardworking person.
Itu Benson to hele kam bisi kuramono ase ek din te baro gonta kam kuri jai aru kitiaba to hele 6 din hele 7 din hafta te bi kam kure.
Right? But because he neglected his health, he started to lose weight.
Koma itu tai laga gau hel karne na bhavna hua pra tai laga gau to hele
Lose weight,
alok kumjur shuru hoise.
And not only that, he started to become very, very unhappy because he didn't like the politics, in the White House. And that's one thing he didn't enjoy. And he had many misunderstandings with many of the high administration people due to politics, and he became very unhappy.
Aro itu hen hoi gna kam bisi kura laga upor ten hoi gna tai khushi na pa hoise kile mane itu top laga ghor te politik pra ekjon ke bia pai inika khan sob dikhi gna tai khushi na pa
Now,
hoise.
this person, he's a man of integrity. He doesn't like all the politics, all the corruption. He didn't like that.
Itu Benson to hele dusra nisna hoi misa misi kura lagan hoi tai to hele ekdam niyom sida laga niyom te
Now,
jable.
because of some of the problem with those politicians, he started to become very unhappy, and he developed what we call clinical depression. He couldn't sleep. He started to become upset, and his health was going down and down and down.
Tate kam kuri ase sai asle politik hua pra itu dangor ekta na mili gna inika digdar hoi thaka dikha aro itu manu to hele itu khan dikhi gna tai guma bale bi nora hoise aro khushi bi na hua hoise inika tai laga gau to hele down hoi ase.
And then on May 12, 1993,
Inika hoi gna May 12 1993
the unthinkable thing happened.
ama khan bhavna kuribo nora laga ulai loise.
Winston Foster was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He committed suicide.
Itu Benson Foster to hele tai laga banduk pra he tai suicide hoy gana mari di thaki
The
se
police found out it was suicide.
police kan hai na sai se itu tu suicide he ase
It was sad that a man who was so hardworking, who wanted to serve country, but because of all the pressure of work, difficulty with human relationship, couldn't get out of it, became down and down and down. Finally, he decided to kill himself.
ekdam phal manu tai country te kam kuribo koi gana aha holbi politic ekjon bia khili dikhi gana aro itu khan ekdam tai khushi na pai gana inika
No, when he started working for the White House, he was full of fire, full of love, full of passion for the country.
itu pro white house te ahai gana tai kam na kura age itu suru time tu tai ekdam kuri dibo phal pro kuri dibo koi gana
Started very well,
ekdam phal pro suru ase
but unfortunately ended very badly.
aro suru to ekdam phal ase hoile bi khatam de to hoile ekdam bia hoy ase
During his funeral,
aro tai laga funeral te
President Clinton was asked to deliver the eulogy. Now let me explain what eulogy. Eulogy is the part in the sermon or after the sermon where someone will come up and say all the nice thing about the person who died. This person contribute this, contribute that. So eulogy is a word of praise and thanks to the person who have died.
eulogy kwa to hele itu muri gna thakha manu inika ase phal ase ki inika kwa laga tai laga funeral di to hele bill clinton pra itu eulogy to hele
And President Clinton, being a best friend, one of the childhood friend, was asked to be the one to give the eulogy.
tai laga funeral te bill clinton soto time pra mili ahi thaka pra bill clinton apna he eulogy to lobby koi gna koi
Now
se
notice what Bill Clinton said.
e to bill clinton pra
Remember,
kinika
he
koi
was the
se
president of America at that time.
e to time te tai america laga president
And he
ase
said it would be wrong to define a life like Vincent in terms of only how it ended. Don't look at Vincent from only the last part of his life, how he ended. It would be wrong to not look at Vincent only how he ended his life.
itu binsin tai kini ka lagazan tai kini ka muri se phale te he sai se koile amakhan galat hobo
But I tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, that's how people look at life. How you end your life. How do you finish the race of life?
itu pra kon hoile bi amakhan kini ka muri se kwa to he manu tu sai
Did you finish well or did you finish badly?
itu apna phal pra muri bona bia pra muri bona e manu sai
How would your life end in the last part?
itu khatam hobale lagate apna laga jan kini ka khatam hobo
And a lot depend on what you're doing now, and it will determine how the future will be.
itu pra itia apna kini ka muri bo itia apna ki kuri ase itu pra he dikhable ase
If you are running well now, probably you will end well.
itia phal kuri gina jai thake se koile khatam dibi phal hobo
But if right now you have difficulties and you have problem with people, you are unhappy, you also end very badly.
itia khushi na pai ekjon loget bia pai gina thaki ase hoile mane piche tibi amakhan bia
You know, the last part of our life is important.
itu pra amakhan laga jan sabse important to hoile shuru bi phal ase hoile bi
How we
khatam phale te he important ase
How we finish the race of life.
itu pra amakhan laga jan running race amakhan race kini ka khatam kuri
You
se
see, just like someone when you buy a book, you go to the library, borrow a book, nobody read a book just to read the middle. They always read the book to get to the last part of the book, the end of the chapter. So the last part is important. Nobody buy a book just to read the middle part.
itu pra kunba khan book kini se koile khali middle ada he puri gna saribo inika lagan hoy kun book paise khatam tak amakhan puribo
So
lage
again, it's not the middle part of your life that's important. It's the last part of your life. And the last part of life really depends on how you live right now.
itu pra amakhan laga jan to hele shuru bi phala se holbi ada adi phala se ko lagan hoy khatam phale ti kini ka ase itu he important ase khatam phal hoble karne itia amakhan thakha jan to important
The
ase
Bible describes the Christian life as a race.
itu pra bible pra amakhan christian laga jan to hele amakhan running race ja laga nisna koi di
And
ase
the question that we must always ask ourselves is, how are we running the race right now? How are we running?
itu yete amakhan ke huda to hele apna running race te phal pra pulai ase na kini ka ase
How you run will determine how you finish.
apna kini ka pulai se itu prahe kini ka khatam hobo janai dibo
Will you finish the race well?
apna itu running race to phal pra khatam hoile
This is a very important question to ask.
itu pra Itu laga question tu important ase.
I want to share a beautiful poem now. I'm not sure how this is going to translate out, but we will try.
Itu laga poem tu ile amakan sai sabong.
This poem is called The Dash, that little line, the dash. It's called The Dash, the poem.
Itu laga poem tu ile dash.
A line.
Ini ka suto line ini ka likhi.
Now, if you are wondering what the dash refers to, it's talking about two dates. The date you were born, the date you die, and the dash. That dash connects the day you were born, the date you die. What is the dash? Life.
Itu laga line laga poem tu hele apna janam laga din jani se. Aro janam aro mura itu duita laga mojote line ekta.
All right. So this poem is about the dash. How you live your life.
Itu laga line te apna ki laga jan bachi di se.
Listen to what the poem say.
Itu poem ki koise sabo.
I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend.
Itu ekjon tu hele tai laga sathi mura din te uthigna kotha ko to ami.
All right. Okay.
Purise.
And he referred to the dates of her tombstone from the beginning to the end, the day she was born and the day she died.
Aro tai ko ase kitia tai janam ase aro kitia tai muri se.
All right. He noted that first came the date of her birth and spoke sadly of the following date with tears because the second date is the day she died.
Itu first itu ile tai janam laga date tu tai ko se aro itu laga piche itu ile cukup pani girigna tai mura laga.
Right. The first was the date of her birth. The last one was the date of her death.
Itu kitia janam ase aro kitia muri se duita date ko se.
But then he said, what mattered most was the dash between the two dates, the line between the two dates. That is the most important. Not the day you're born, not the day you die, but what matters most is the dash between the dates.
Itu sathi koise aji sabse important tu le kitia janam ase kitia muri se itu telagan hoy janam aro mura itu mujotte tai kini ka bachi se.
You see, that dash represents all the time that this person had when she was still alive.
Itu desh tu hele itu dunia te tai laga pura laga jan kini ka thaki se ko.
Because that dash is her life.
Kile mane itu desh alop line thaka tu tai laga jan.
Where she spent working, family, spending time with loved one. This represents the time, all the time that she had when she was alive.
Itu laga desh te tai jana tai laga tai bachi gana thakatem de tai ki kuri se kini ka kurana itu sob tate thaki se.
And then this is a beautiful part. And now only those who love her and know her know what that little dash is worth. What that little dash is worth, whether it was a good dash or a bad dash. Only those who know her well.
Itu laga desh te tu hele kun tai ke jani ase.
Right?
Kun he itu manu laga jani ase itu alop soto laga desh thakatu tate kiman important ase ko to ile janibo.
And now notice this beautiful part.
Itu
For it mattered not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. This is not the most important thing.
Itu desh soto te tai kiman paisa ase noile car kiman ase ghor phal ase na nai itu tu kam nai.
My friend, I'll tell you, nobody care about what kind of car you drive, how big your house is, how much money you have. But you know what they care about? I'll tell you. Nobody really care what kind of car you have, what kind of big house you have, how much money you have. Nobody really care.
Itu amakhan mora temte ki laga car chulai se kiman ghor ase kiman paisa ase kuno bi itu lagatin hingsap na.
They will not remember these things.
Itu khan sob yet na hibo.
But what they remember is this:
holbi mora temte tai khan par manu pra yet kuri bele tu hoile.
Of a kind man who, when he had a car, he used his car to drive people to church. He used his car to drive people to hospital. He used his car as a vehicle of mercy and love. This is the kind of car, this is the kind of people remember, who use his car for the love of God, for the love of mankind.
Holbi jinda hoi gana thaka temte itu manu car thaka temte church te bi loi jai dise duk dikdar temte hospital loi jai dise inika itu car pra chulai gana inika phal kam tu he manu tu hele.
Not the one with the big beautiful car, but never did a single thing to help people.
Itu pra ekdam sundur phal car thakibo pare holbi manu ke ekdam एक बार भी मदद ना
And
दे
even though
कोले
this
मने
may be a very humble little car, even though this may be a very humble little car compared to the flashy, luxurious Mercedes-Benz or BMW, you know,
itu pra कार एकदम दाम वाला नहल भी मामूली लगा कार चुलाई के ना था खिले भी
people will always remember this car because this was a car that was used to do kind things, acts of mercy, acts of love, always helping people. These are the car people remember.
ini ka hoile mane mamuli laga कार चुलाई था खिले भी मनोद के मदद करी दिबो दुख दिगदार टाइम ते ini ka मदद करी दिबो ini ka काम तो है मनुखन
Not the person with so many cars, big flashy car, Ferrari, BMW, Lamborghini. Nobody bothered about this thing because it was not a blessing to mankind. But that person, even with the humble car, it was a blessing.
itu pra yate dam laga BMW Ferrari ki thakibo pare hole bi itu manu karne itu lagan hingsap nai hole bi itu car mamri thakil bi manu ki ka madad kurise.
It is the same thing. Nobody bothered about the house that has 3-4 story big garden, you know, with swimming pool. Nobody remember this. But they will remember that man, even though he has a simple house. His house always accept visitors. No place, come stay in my house. His house was used for prayer meeting. His house was a place of love, of mercy, of kindness. This is a house people remember.
Itu dangor gohor thaki na swimming pool thaki bo bi pare ki hoi thaki bi pare hole bi manu ke madud na de gole itu manu lagan hingsap nai yete mamuli laga gohor thaki le bi alo ya khan hatem te ahai bi gumai dibi khai dibi ini ka khuli gna ba alo ya khan ke madud kuri dia laga gohor ini ka gohor to hai
In that house people see the love of God.
ini ka laga gohor te ishor laga marom manu dikhi
A
jai
humble house but full of love.
itu mamuli gohor hoi gna thagil bi tate morom par
Of a humble house where the Bible is taught, where the Bible is shared. Because prayer meeting and care group was held in that place.
manu laga nisna phal na hobo pare holbi bible puri gna tate morom ishor milibo para laga ghor ini ka ghor tu he ase manu
A house where they invite visitors for prayer meeting, you know, for Bible study. That is a house. People will never forget that house.
itu laga ghor de manu khan ke invite kuri gna prayer ikil wa prasna kuribo aru bible study kuribo koi gna ini ka ghor tu he ase manu yet kuribo
Not that big rich mansion with swimming pool with 3-4 story. It was never a blessing to mankind.
ekdam stories banai dibo swimming pool thakibo ini ka laga ghor tu noi manu yet
And it's the same thing with cash. Nobody will remember how much billion you may have, but they will remember that man, even though he has little, that little, he half it and give the other one. I live on half, the other half I will help others. That kind of people, that generous spirit, that love and the kindness, nobody will forget him. Even when he died, people will still remember him.
amakhan mura temte oh tai kiman million ase kiman billion ase itu koble lagan hoile zinda hoi gana thakha temte amakhan alob he hoi thekelibi amakhan pra kumjur amakhan pra alob niche hoi gana thakha khalote eni ka bhag kuri gana thakha eni ka laga paisa tu he si
Brother and sister, never make the mistake of thinking only rich people can be kind, that only rich people can help, only rich people can donate. Don't make the mistake. God has blessed both the rich and poor, even the poor. But with the grace of God, we can still give. We can still give, we can still bless, we can still help.
Ito pra bhai ko kai khan khali don manu khan pra he donate kuribo pare koi gina bhabna taka morom pra inika na bhabibi dukhya manu bi amakhan madud dibo paribo aro dukhya manu khan bi madud dibo paribo ko toile.
You may not be able to give much, but the little that you gave was a blessing to others compared to the one who has so much never gave.
Don manu khan pra dangor dibo nore dibo tai khan dianis na amakhan dibo nore libi alop he holibi amakhan diatu itu he.
You see, when we die, this is what people remember, the things we did, not the things we did not do.
Itu pra amakhan mura temte amakhan ki ase ki khan ase itu manu khan yet kuri blelo zinda hua temte amakhan ki kuri dise itu he yet te hoble ase.
And the poem continue. And what matters is how we live and how we love and how we spend our dash. How did we spend our dash, our life?
Itu pra janam aro mura itu laga mojote alop time thakate sabse important toile amakhan kini ka bachi se amakhan kini ka kuri se Aro amakhan kini ka morom kurise itu he important ase.
Did we live well? Did we live well?
Amakhan thik phal pra bachi dis na ki?
Did we love?
To
Did we love?
Amakhan morom phal pra morom kurise na
Did
ki?
we use our time wisely for the glory of God?
Ato amakhan time homoy to ishor laga nam mahima kurible karne amakhan chulaisi na ki?
Did we use our time to bless others?
To amakhan time homoy to dusra karne asyirwad hoble karne chulaisi na ki?
How did we spend that dash?
Itu alop mura janam mura itu laga mujotte alop time homoy thaka tu apnar kinika spend kurise.
So think about this long and hard. Are there things you like to change? Think about this long and hard. Are there things you like to change?
Itu pra inika khata laga janam mura itu suto time te phal pra thik pra bhavna kuri lolobi apna badli kuri bole mon ase na nai.
For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. Nobody know how much time we have left.
Kile mane apnar karne kiman time homoy ase amakhan kobo nore rearrange kuri bole karne. Itu pra phal pra bhabi sabe.
So if we live our life wrongly, maybe we need to rearrange our life.
To pra amakhan tate galat pra bachi thaki se kule amakhan badli hoble dorkar ase.
Oh, if we could just slow down enough to consider what's true, what's real.
Itu alop amakhan alop aste kuri dibo parile mane.
Sometimes it's good to slow down.
Kitiabat amakhala jan do slow
Not
down.
rush here, rush there, rush there, rush there.
Hodai pula puli na hobo lagi.
Never thinking about life.
Itu amakhan jan ki ase bhavna
What's
hobo
true,
lagi.
what's real.
Kuntu hosa ase kuntu
And then
thik ase.
suddenly we find ourselves sick, we were dying. Suddenly we find ourselves sick and dying.
Aro itu khan amakhan yette na ha agete pra amakhan bemar hobo muri jai jabo.
And it's too late to change your life.
Itia inika hatem ditu badli kuri bole karne diri hoi jai se.
That's why it's good to slow down.
Kitiabat itu pra jan toile aste slow down kurawi.
That's one of the reasons why God gave us a Sabbath.
Inika hopra ishor pra sabat.
That is why God gave us a Sabbath.
Inika alop life toile slow down hoble karne ishor to amakhan ke
You see,
sabat dia se.
you may be running so fast, but then God's got stop, 7 day, you rest. You
Itu
think
pra-
about life again.
amakhan
Don't
jan-
just keep running.
Amakhan
Stop.
jan karne pulai thakibo ishor pra koise rukhibi koi gana itu sabat dia.
Every 7 days, stop and think about life.
Itu 7 day hoise koile jan rukhibi ami kini ka bachi dise ko to ekbar.
Every 7 day, think about God and your walk with God.
Itu 7 din haise koile ishor logot yat kuribi aro ishor logot apna kini ka ase
Every
babi.
7 day, think about your relationship with one another.
Itu pra 7 din de haise koile sathi bhai logot apna kini ka mile ase
Every
babi.
7 day, think about how you live, how you spend your dash.
Itu 7 din 7 day haise koile itu laga gap te apna ki laga life bachi dise babi sabe.
If we can slow down and try to understand the way other people feel and not how you feel, think about how other people feel.
Itu jan toile slow down kuribi dusra khan pra ami ke ki koi ase dusra khan pra ki hoi ase itu sabi ami ki kuribo lagate nohoi
Be
gana.
less to anger and learn to show appreciation more.
Itu
Less to
pra-
anger.
Khong kumti kuribi dusra ke नाम उठा दूसरा के थैंक यू कि बा कुरा तोइले अमखन बिसी हो
Don't always find fault and scold people. Learn to appreciate them, learn to affirm, encourage them.
खुदाई itu गलत आसे itu लगाते ना बिचारेगना
Right.
हाल फलेते अमखन बिचारे
Learn to bring people up, not push people down.
itu manu ke utha bole karne amakhan khusis kuribo niche na daba bole karne
And love the people around you like you never loved before. If you have neglected your wife, if you have neglected your husband, if you have neglected your children, your relatives, your mother, father, time that you learn to love them, you never know how much time you have
to
left.
manu ke morom kuribole karne maiki ke nohile bacha ke mota ke nohile sathi bhai apna laga ushode thaga khal logote itu 7 din haise koile enika morom hobole karne bhabibi
Love them like you have never loved them before.
itu tai khan ke morom kuri dibi poila apna kinika kuri se itu laga nohoigna bisi morom karne khusis kuribi
If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, smile more.
itu pra ekjon ke respect kuribi aro amakhan smiling hasi thakibole
Remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. We have no idea how much fuel, how much gas is left in our car.
itu pra itu life amakhan jan lagate inika khata to hele kiman din hoble ase amakhan na janai.
Right? And now, this is the part I like. And so when your eulogy, when the time comes when we are dead, and someone come here and talk about your life, and when your eulogy is being read, with your life being rehashed, no, people talk about your life, how you spend your life, okay?
Itu manu mura temte apna sathi ekjon pra uthigana. Itu manu tu ini ka kuriside koi gana. Ko bole laga tu tai laga kam tu he important ase.
Please listen to this part.
Itu hunibi itu part.
Would you be proud of the things they say about how you spend your dash? Would you be proud about what this person would say about this person, this lady, this man, how you spend your dash? Will you be proud of what they will say?
Itu pra. Janam aro mura itu laga bitorte apna ki kam kure se apna ki manu ase sathi khan pra ko bole laga bhabi gna hoy ami tu thik bachi dise koi na alop amakhan izat inam lobo para laga manu ase na ki
Between birth and death, we have life.
amakhan mura temte sathi pra itu manu kun ase ko bole laga bhabi sabi.
Question is, how did we live our life?
Ito ko sa ete hudi bole laga tu Janam mura itu laga mojote apna kinika bachi dise.
When we die, what will people say about how you spend your life?
Amakhan mura temte manupra itu kun ase manukhan pra amakhan ki manu ase.
Would they say that this is a man who gave himself, who always helped people, a kind, loving Christian, an example of a true Christian?
Itu amakhan mura temte manukhan pra es. Itu tu ekdam phal manu ase de. Manu ke modot kuri thakha laga manu ase. Kubo para laga jan hoba naki.
This man was an example of selflessness. He was never selfish. Even little he gave, little he shared.
Itu manu tu hele ekdam nijer karne na bhabik de. Alop heu libik. Alop heu hoite libik. Ini ka share kura manu ase de.
This brother, this sister was always encouraging, always helping those who have fallen. He was a comfort. He was a blessing.
Duk digdar hoigna afsus hoigna thakatemte tai ahai se koile tu mon uthai digna khushi banai dia manu ase
Or
dei.
would it be that when the person come up, have got nothing good to say about you?
Noile eto muratemte dusra khan pra uthigna phal ekta bi kobo nora laga manu hobo neki.
Really have nothing to say because, you know, you never was a blessing. So
Ito-
the person don't know what to say about you.
Ama khan tu hele dusra karne ashirbat no hoi koile mane manu pra uthigna eko ama khan laga jan matlab te koble na thakibo.
Now, brothers and sisters, I want you to remember this thing.
Etu pra etu yet kuri thakibi.
You will look back at the years that has passed by. You know, when you grow old, you look back at the years with tremendous satisfaction and joy if you do two things. If you
Ito
look
pra-
back at the years that has passed by.
Itu pra apna laga jan apna kinika bachi gana ahai ase itu ek bar pichete sai sabito.
I can say this because right now I'm 67 years old.
Ami itu kobo paribo ami laga sal to hele 67 na
I
sai.
was young once and suddenly I find myself retired. Suddenly I find myself getting pain here, pain there, losing hair, you know. I'm getting old.
I don't
No? I mean, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
You know? But what I'm trying to say is, whether we like it or not, you will grow old.
Itu pra ama khan laga jan tu sabi ama khan lagena na lagena ama khan tu aste aste bura chuli giri jai jabo takot kumti hoi jabo inika sob to ahible laga.
But I look back at the years of my life. I
Ito-
look back at the years of my life.
ama khan laga jan tu hele satem dai.
And I'm so grateful I make two good decisions.
Itu pra ami laga jan to ami ini ka hatem de ami besi khushi paise decision
And
duita ami
my
loise.
life, I have no regrets as a result. No regrets.
Ami laga life te regret nai.
Same thing with you. You will look back at the years of your life with no regret if you also do the same thing, the two things.
Apna khan bi ini ka hobne ki ama khal apna khan laga jan bi apna kini ka bachi di se satem te regret nai.
Number one, that throughout your life you have been walking with God by your side. You have been walking with God by your side. If you have lived your life with God by your side, you have lived a good, happy, blessed life.
Itu pra apna laga jan to hele ishor logot miligna jai se koile mane tate regret ekta bi pable na hoy to hele apna phal zan bachi di side.
So ask yourself, are you walking alone or is God walking along with you?
Itu nijer hudi sabi apna ekla jai ase na ishor logot miligna jai ase.
You know, we sing the song, walking with Jesus, walking every day. Are we walking with God every day?
Itu ganate amakhan kuri theke walking with Jesus. Jisu Krista logot miligna hodai jai ase koi ase na ekla jai ase.
Is God in our thoughts, in our consciousness? Is God there?
Ishor to hele amakhan laga bhapnate ase na na.
Whenever we make a major decision, do we consult God? God, what should I do? Should I marry this person? Should I buy this car? Should I go for do this study? Is God there in deciding all the major decisions of your life?
Itulah kibat decision loble ase kole ishor logot loy ase amakhan ki kuribo wagna amakhan.
So the first good thing you can ever do in your life, where you will live your life next time when you grow old with no regret, is because you have lived your life with God by your side. You are walking with God. Everyone who walk with God is a blessed life.
Kon hoile bi ishor logot miligna jai thaka laga jan doile ashirbat pa laga jan ase.
Number 2.
Number 2,
You will also feel be blessed if in your life you have also devoted your life for the service of God. You have find time to serve God either in church or to witnessing. You were doing something for God. You were not living your life selfishly. You were serving God.
itu laga jante apna laga jante apna time homoy pai gnai ishor kane kiba kam kuri di gna thaki se koile mane shanti lagal jan hoble ase.
Through your own example, your godly influence, you influence your neighbor to know about God. You influence your relative to know about God. If you have done that, you have lived a good life.
Itu pra apna laga jan phal pra apna laga neighbors khalogote influence kuri de ishor ke janai dia laga apna laga jan phal pra kunba khan ke mon uthai dia ishor kane kam kura laga jan to hele.
Brothers and sisters, be the kind of person where people can see Jesus in you. Where people can see Jesus in you. Be the kind of person where people can see Jesus in you.
Itu pra morom hoy na thaka bhai ko kai khan ini ka laga jan bachi thakibi manu pra apna laga jante jisu Krista dikhibo para laga jan thakibi
By your love, by your kindness, you will be able to lead people to Jesus Christ.
apna laga morom apna laga phal kam pra manu khan apna logote jisu chihira dikhibo para laga jan thakibi.
Please turn to your Bible to Micah chapter 6 verse 8.
Itu pra Micah 6 verse 8 te khuli
Because here in this Bible text, God has shown, O man, O woman, what is good and what the Lord requires from you.
yete manu ke koi ase manu khan ke yete ishor pra ini ka dikhai dia ase ishor pra apna logote ki dorka ase.
This text tells us what is good, what does God wants for all of you, 3 things.
Kun tu phal ase aro ishor tu apna pra ki lagi ase ko to le.
Let's look at the first one.
dikhai dise
The first one,
ekta sabo
act justly. Be a person of justice. Support righteousness. Defend those who have been bullied, who have been oppressed. Never support corruption. Never.
itu pra
Act justly.
amakhalaga jan doile sida sidi thakibo lage kunba khan pra thuka thuki dikhile thuka thuki khan logote amakhan support kuribo lage aro amakhan la jan doile enika manu ke daba dabi thuka thuki enika hoigna thik sida sidi thakibo
God
lage.
asks all of us to be a person of righteousness, to be
itu
of
pra
justice.
ishor to amakhan ke koi ase amakhan ke thik niyom hingsa pra thakha manu ekta hobide.
And the second thing God say, love mercy. Be a person who is forgiving. When people done wrong, forgive. Extend mercy just as God extend mercy to you. We must also likewise extend mercy
aro
to
itu
others.
hen hoigna itu amakhan kunba khan pra galat kuri se kole amakhan map dibo paribo lage amakhan map manu ke dikhabo lage.
And the third thing that God say, what is good, what He require, walk humbly with your God. Walk humbly with your God. Walk humbly with your God.
Itu manu ke thukha thukhi hoigna thakibo nore sik sida sidi laga jan thakibo lage aro manu pra galat kurilu map kuribo lage aro 3 bar te to hele phutaning no hoigna ishor logote ini chupchap ishor laga niche te namigna ishor logote iki logot jai
When
thakibo
our
lage.
Lord Jesus returned, He will ask you this question. When our Lord Jesus returned, He will ask you this question.
Itu pra itu dunia pra amakhan upos ahatem de itu laga question amakhan ke
I have
thakibo.
shown you what is good.
Itu ami kun ki phal ase dikhai dise
I have told you what I require from you.
itu pra apna pra itu ami lagibo ko tu de koi dise.
Did you support justice?
Itu pra apna justice te support kurisi na nai?
Did you uphold? Were you an example of justice, defending the poor, the downtrodden? Never support corruption.
Manu pra dabai di gina thaka duk digdar hoi gina thaka dukhya khal logote apna support kuri gina justice hoble karne apna support kurisi na nai?
Number two.
Number 2.
Did you love mercy? Were you a forgiving person? As God has forgiven you, did you forgive others?
ईश्वर pra apna ke maaf kura nisna दूसरा pra apnar logot galat kura temte apnar maaf kuri ase na nai?
And number 3, did you walk with my son? Did you walk with Jesus Christ each day? Walking with Jesus. Were you walking with Jesus?
Baba ईश्वर pra ko bole ito apnar ami sukra Jisu Krista logot te hat duri gina iki logot jai ase na nai?
Now, remember I told you there are 2 things. If you live a life correctly, number 1, walking with God, and the number 2, where you live with no regret, is when you have served God. You have taken time to serve God. You realize the importance that I am a servant of God. I must serve God.
Ito pra apna laga jan 2 bar satem te regret ekta bhi nai koile mane apna thik bacha laga hoya ase aro itu laga oporte apna time homoy to philai gana ishor laga kam karne kuri dise koile mane phan laga jan apna bachi dina thaki
There is no greater work, nothing more precious than we sharing the blessed message of salvation. Nothing can be greater than your act of proclaiming salvation to those who do not know. You have done the greatest, noblest thing in your life if you shared the gospel.
Eto salvation pabo paribule karne na jane gana thaka logote apnar koi dia tu hele o tu laga kam nisna dunia te dangor kam kitya bin pabule na hoy.
Brothers and sisters, if in this whole life you did not even bring one person to the Lord will definitely ask you why. Why did you not share about what I have done for
Ito
mankind?
pra ama khalaga jan iman gap thaki gana kuno gibi ishor logote atma ekta ishor logote na ahile
But for
na
those-
anile mane ishor pra kile itu salvation laga toile dusra logot kile na koi hudibo.
For those who have shared, look at what God said about those. What did God say about all those who were involved in the work of soul winning?
Hoilibi ishor laga kam te involve kuri gana jai thaka khal logote ishor pra ki koi say.
Isaiah 53 verse 7.
Isaiah 52 verse 7.
52 verse 7.
Yeah, 52.
How beautiful are the feet, how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, your God reign. The most beautiful feet that God can look down right now, the most beautiful feet are those who have walked to bring the message of salvation, who bring the gospel, who bring peace, the peace of God to others. The most beautiful feet.
पहाड़ ते होबो देवी की ते होबो देवी सबसे सुंदर लगा थैंक तो hele salvation लगा कथा शांति लगा कथा ना जाने गना थका लगोते आत्मा बची वो पारे बला पारा लगा खबर लोई गना जा तो hele इतो सबसे सुंदर लगा थैंक असे.
You know, God is not looking at your pretty shoes. God is looking at your feet. Did you bring the message of salvation to others?
इतो ईश्वर तो अपना किमान सुंदर सु लगाया से इतो ते साना अपना लगा थैंक तो hele दूसरा लगोते अनंत जीवन अनिबो पारा लगा थैंक असने की इतो दे साया
And
से.
look at what the Bible says about those who spend time serving God.
Itu pra Bible pra ki ko ase time homoy philai gana ishor laga kam kuri gana thaka
1
khalogote.
Corinthians 15:58.
1 Corinthians 15:58.
Therefore, my dear brother and my dear sisters, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know your labor is in the Lord is not in vain.
Itu pra jor pra khara kuri thakibi ami laga boini didi khan aro kun ki prabi apna ki hilabo na dibi aro apna pura puri ishor laga kam karne apna जान तो दीदी भी किले हमने अपना कुरी थका लगा काम तो हिले मिशा मिशीते ना हराबो.
Whether you are from Dimampo Church, from Samziuram Church or Kohima Church, you have a responsibility to contribute to the church, to unite with brothers and sisters, to build up your church. You are a family, and you are servants of God. Never forget that.
Itu pra अपना Samziuram pra hobo pare, Dimapur pra hobo pare, Kohima pra hobo pare. Itu church laga bitor de thaka logo to mon miligana.
And never forget the church is a lighthouse to proclaim the message, the light to the rest of the world. You must make sure your church is a lighthouse.
Itu pra अपना भाभी बोलोगे अपना लगा मंडली अपना लगा चर्च तो हेले उजला दी थाखा लगा जगह आसिदे को तो हेले
I'm going to tell you a very interesting story.
itu pra ekta kahani ko
You
boleh
know, I'm
mana
a person who follow the Olympics because every time in the Olympics, I find story I can use in my sermon.
itu pra Olympic ami ketia Olympic hobo ko na ami tu sai ase Olympic ulabo tate ami karne kahani ini pai thake
In the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico,
itu Mexico te 1968 Olympic game te
there was a man that nobody will ever forget, John Stephen Aquari of Tanzania.
itu John Stephen Aquari Tanzania pra
That's him in the picture.
picture te thaka tu
His leg was bandaged, very heavily bandaged. He has hurt himself, and still he was running. And this is the hardest race. It's the marathon race, 42.2 kilometers. The marathon is the most difficult race, 42 kilometers.
itu marathon to hele 42 kilometer point
Yeah, it's 42 point something.
42.5 chaw 6 chaw
Kilometers.
ini ka itu he sabse duk laga ase holibi itu mano theng bikhalibi ini ka pulai ahat
Now, in my life, I have run one marathon. I can tell you it's very difficult.
Itu-
You try running 42 kilometers. This is the toughest race I've ever gone through. And thank God I finished it.
itu pra 42 kilometer itu pula to hele itu he sabse duk laga running race
I
ase
remember how painful my leg was for 2-3 days after that.
itu ami bi ekbar pulai saise holibi gaman theng bikhai
42 kilometers is 26 miles, okay? 26 miles. Just imagine running and walking for 26 miles.
26 mile to hele ini ahaza kuri saisabi
Now, the most interesting thing about John Stephen Quarry is that all those people have already crossed the finish line. He was the last one. No more medals to be won. Everybody has crossed, and he was still the last one, running in darkness, walking in darkness.
itu pra itu manu laga kotha to hele itu marathon pura pula khan itu dende sob age jai se tai ekla he hoi jai se tai tu andhira te holi bi ini pulai ase
You see, this poor runner at the beginning part of the race, he fell down and hurt himself so badly, he was bleeding. And you know, people say, wow, you can't run. But he said, no, I must run. And they bandaged him. And when he ran, he started to bleed. Every time he ran, he bleed. And so the bandage was changed many, many times throughout the entire race.
itu suru time te tai giri gna itu khun to hele bleeding hoi jai se itu manu khan pra koise apna pulabo noribo koise nai ami pulabo bandage lagai gna pulai thakibo khun bisi hoi thakibo banai dibo hoi gna ini ka tai manu khan pra na pulabi ko lebi nai ami pulabo lagi
I want you to imagine, you hurt your knee so badly, you bandage, and each time you run, the bandage will keep rubbing, and the blood will flow again. It's very painful when the bandage keep rubbing against your wound.
itu pra yeti tai laga ni to hele bandage kuri dibo pulai thakibo bandage to bia hoi jabo khun barta hobo khulibo aru nautun bandage lagai dibo ini ka tai pulai
And he
ase
could no longer run fast.
tai jaldi pulabo nora hoise
And all those people so far ahead.
itu pra dusra khan sob par hoi jaise
And the first, second, third already won their medals.
third second third bi sob hoi jaise
There was no more medals to be won.
itu pra tate eku inam pable
And
nai
still he was running.
hoile bi tai tu pulai ase
And that's why all the media, the TV, the radio, everybody follow him, wondering why is this man? Why did he not give up? Why?
itu pra itu first second third bi pable laga noi kile itu manu tu pulai ase na koi gna media khan camera khan sob loi gna tai
I
laga
tell
piche
you,
jai.
all the van with all the camera, with the radio people, all were following him, all recording him. He was the most televised person in that Olympic game. Most televised, because they were following him. No, he's the last person.
itu pra first second third bi pable laga bin hoi eku inam pable laga bin hoi hoile bi tai na sari gna jai ase itu pra TV khan camera mari ase car khan soi gna tai itu laga Olympic ti tai laga naam hai sabse duniya te dikhai dia manu
And
hoya
finally, he entered the stadium. You see, the marathon began from the stadium. You run 42 kilometers, you come back to the same stadium. So now he's entering the stadium, right? And it's really dark. It's really dark.
marathon pula to hele dangor stadium pra pula shuru hoi jabo pulai kena kote suro ase itu laga stadium te aro high ble ase itia to itu manu to ile itia to stadium te ha suro hoise hoile bi andira hoy ase
And everybody stood up in the stadium. They clapped. They stood up and they clapped. They cheered for this man. This man who did not and would not give up.
itu andira hoy kena thangile bi tate manu khan rukhi kena ase last itu manu stadium te
Everyone was watching him slowly cross the line. The line, everybody was waiting for him to cross the line.
Itu pramanu khan sob itu line to le cross hoble rukhi gane aste tai line to cross.
And the moment he crossed the line, all the TV, radio people, all the media people surrounded him and all asked the same question.
Itu pra line cross kura logo ti TV khan Kiki khan sob media khan sob hai gana same question tai ke hudi se
John, why did you not give up?
John apne kile sarana
There's no more medals.
itu medals pable bin hoy
The last runner already run 1 hour already. You know, you are 1 hour behind the last runner.
itu sabse last wala bi 1 ghonta age te khatam hoisi to
People will forgive you. You are hurt.
itu manu khan maaf dible se apna zakhum hoisi
You are bleeding.
apna khun ulai gna ase
Why did you not give up?
kile apne sarana
Listen to his famous reply.
itu pra tai ki jawab dise hudi sabe
He said,
tai koise
my country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. No. My country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. You understand? My country did not send me, not because it's 5,000 miles away from Tanzania. He's from Tanzania, Africa. My country did not send me 5,000 miles just to start the race. No. Just to begin the race. You understand?
okay
You know how to translate? I mean, no, I only when you translate, I can talk about the second part. Yeah.
yes wait
You understand?
or can you put this in another way
He is saying, I did not stop because I have a mission. My mission is that my country has sent me to participate,
okay
not just to start and then stop. You know.
Okay.
I must continue.
itu manu pra ini ka koise ami ke yete patha to ami laga country pra yete ami ke patha to hele suru kurigina sarible karne patha
And
na
now
hoy
look at the second part of his statement.
tai ini ka
My
koise
country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish the race.
ami country pra patha to hoile 5,000 mile dur pra yete ami ke patha to hoile running race suru kurible patha lagan hoy running race to khatam kuribi koi na ami ke pathai ase
We are not to start, but we have to finish.
ami ke pathai dia to ile suru kurible karne patha noy khatam hoble pathai ase
Mang boy, turn on the video. Mang boy, turn on the volume. Huh? We are going to see the video right now. Turn on the volume.
video jau khong video sabo
Okay. Is the volume on? Mang boy? Oh, okay. Let's try again. I want you to hear this. This is the real video of the 1968 Olympic game. I want you to watch this. Ready?
1968
Okay, I hope the volume is on. Okay, put the microphone there. All right, here goes. Ready? Okay. Louder, please.
Over an hour after Mama Wolde
That's him
crossed the finish line,
running the
John
last
Stephen
part of the
Okoye
journey.
Tanzania approaches the stadium.
Pain, and yet he did not give up.
tai bi si bikhai gna thakia se holi bi tai saranai
Now, it's so dark, he's about to enter the stadium.
ekdam indra hoise stadium de tai go sible ase
Everyone was watching because they all saw on TV this man who did not give up.
etu praso manu tv de dikhia se etu manu tu chari bole lagan hoy
You see, all the cars were following him, the van with the TV man, radio man, all following him.
tv rukhi gna thaka khan olympic de official khan tai laga piche car khan chok
Even the police car were behind,
etu pra police laga car bin piche de ase
including the ambulance.
ambulance bi thaki gna
And now he's about to enter the stadium.
itu pra itia stadium go sible ase
Okay, look at how everybody stood up. Look at that. Okay, look. Everybody stood up and clapped. He was a hero, a real hero. Look at that. Everybody stood up and clapped.
Today we have seen a young African runner who symbolizes
Pitay saranay.
games.
And now he's about to cross the line.
His meaning
Dia tay line to cross hobo.
Remember, this is Mexico.
Khatam hoy siya.
Remember his famous word. My country did not send me 5,000 miles from Tanzania to go to Mexico just to start, just to start only. They sent me to finish the race.
ताई लोगों ते किले अपना सारानाई कोई गना होदा तेमते अमी लगा काउंट्री तो हिले 5,000 माइल दूर पर येते अमी के पथाई दिया तो हिले रनिंग रेस शुरू होबले करने पथा लगन होय 5,000 माइल दूर पर येते अमी के पथाई दिया तो हिले शुरू होय गना खत्म होबले करने अमी के
My
पथाई
brothers and sisters, it's the same thing. God, when you got to know God, when you start your Christian race, don't just start. Don't just start. Make sure you finish the Christian race. Don't give up.
Ito ase ishwar prabi yate amakhan ke Christian ekta hoy gana amakhan laga jantu running race ase koise shuru hoy dise ito pra nasari bide khatam na hua tak bikhai gana thakilbi kiki hoilbi khatam na hua tak nasari be.
Today, some of you may be discouraged.
Aji kun makhan to mon soto hoy thakibo
Some of you are
pare
thinking of giving up.
kun makhan to saribo na ki.
But you must remember what God will say to you. I did not just ask you to start the race. I expect you to finish the race. By my power, by my spirit, by my help, you will finish the race.
Ito pra ishwar pra amakhan ke ito hudible ase kile khatam hona hai ito ami laga morom pra ami laga takot pra apna ke modod dibo khatam hoble
You
karne
see, many Christians, they start off running very well at the beginning part.
ito pra Christian bisi phakto shuru te phal pra shuru hoy
But then they finish very poorly.
aro hoilbi khatam dem de ekdam
Because
dia
they gave up because of the hurdles. I have to jump. They are so tired. The hurdles. The hurdles? They have to jump over the
ito
hurdles.
pra running race laga za laga bitor de duk digdar bisi thakha pra running race to tai
And
khan
some has fallen flat and they can't get up and they don't want to give up. They have become so discouraged.
ito pulai gana thaka temte kun makhan tu giri ase aro zakhum hoy gana aro uthibele mon nai
Now, this is my last story.
ito ami laga last story
In
ase
the world of marathon, there are 5 famous marathon in the world. The London Marathon, the New York Marathon, the Berlin Marathon, the Chicago Marathon, and the Boston Marathon in America. There are 5 famous marathon around the world, the most famous marathon race.
दुनिया ते marathon race ते सबसे नाम जा लगा 5टा marathon race ase ito to hele London, New York, Berlin, Chicago,
and Boston.
ito
Right?
5टा ase
So out of the 5, 3 of them are in America.
ito 5टा laga bitor te 3टा to hele America te
But
ase
if you look very carefully, this is the route. Now you can see some part is very difficult because, especially the one in Boston, the last part you have to go up a hill. That is difficult. You have to run up a hill. The last part of the marathon, run up a hill.
ito pra marathon te Boston te thaka to hele last part to hele ekdam pahar te uthibo lage
Remember I told you the marathon is 26 miles.
kom ami ko ase marathon to hele 26 mile ase
Between the 20th mile and the 21st mile, suddenly a runner, look, suddenly the thing go up this way. And they are really so tired. And still they look, there's a little hill they need to run up. And that hill, they call it Heartbreak Hill. Heartbreak Hill. Really break your heart, Heartbreak Hill. Boston, this Boston.
Boston laga marathon race te toile ada nisna hatem te sob mon bikhai gana duk digdar hoy gana thakibo holbi khatam hoble laga hatem te toile pahar ekdam pahar utha laga thake itu pahar laga naam to Heartbreak
Hill. The hill is called Heartbreak.
mon bangai dia laga pahar
Why was it called Heartbreak Hill?
kile mon bangai dia laga pahar koi
Because it is in this place many people gave up.
kila mane itu laga jega prehe manu bi siphak marathon pulai gana thaka itu
Because
part
they are already so tired and still, they're going to run up this little hill. They are so tired. They gave up.
itu eman dug hoy gana pulai haibo itu toile ekdam ocha dikhata itu tu no hobo noribo bla koi na sari de
Brothers and sisters, in our life, there will be many heartbreak hills. You will go through heartbreak hill. I will go through heartbreak hills. There will be many heartbreak hills in our life.
Bhai-
Challenges.
bhai ku kai khan ama khalaga jante ama khala life te running race jai gana thaka temte enika mon banga dibo para laga pahar bisi lok pabo pare
Look at what the Bible says, James 1 verse 12.
Bible pra ki koise James 1 verse 12.
Blessed is the man who persevere, who never gave up under trial. He never gave up.
Ito ini ka duk digdar jante pailibik na sarigna duri thakato
Who
asyabat
stood the test, no? They passed the test. They passed the
Ito
test.
pra duk digdar te na girigna na sarigna duri
And the
thaka.
Bible says that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord promised to those who love Him.
Ini kalaga manuto hele, ini kalaga manuto hele. Dormi laga tiara to hele pavle ase.
2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 7.
2 Timothy 4 verse 7.
May this be our words in the last part of our life. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. I did not give up the race. I did not give up the race.
Ami larai kuribele laga larai to ami kuri loisei. Ami pulable laga running race to ami pulai loisei. Aro ami laga biswas to ami durigna ase.
All right? And then in verse 8, therefore there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord the righteous shall give me at that day. And not to me, but also all those who love His appearing.
Ini ka huapra itia to hele ami karne. Dormi laga tara. Ishor prahe dible thaka to hele ami karne to thaki jaise. Ami ekla karne nohoi. Kun hoile bi ishor ke morom khan ki bi dible ready hoigna.
Brothers and sisters, if you feel tired,
Itu pra boini didi khan apna.
if you feel discouraged,
Itu digdar duk hoise koile mane mon soto hoise koile mane.
you need to look up. You need to look up.
Itu apna uporte sabi.
Hebrews 12 verse 2, looking unto Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faith, who for the joy that was set before you endured the cross, despising the shame, and is at the right hand of the throne of God. Look to Jesus, don't look at anything else.
Apna laga jante duk digdar paise. Discourage hoise koile mane. Apna Jisu Krista het te sabi. Kile mane Jisu Krista to hele cross laga duk digdar to pukhigna jitigna ite ishor logote bhoigna thaka. Tate sabi apna takot pavle ase.
Now, brothers and sisters, let me share with you my life motto. This Bible text is the motto I try to live by, and I pray it will be your motto,
Itu
your
pra
principle in life.
bhai boini khan itu laga text te amakhan sabo itu he ami laga zan laga moto
Acts 20:24.
Acts 20:24.
However, I consider my life worth nothing to me.
Ini ka hoigna ami laga zan to eko phal laga nai.
My only aim is to finish the race.
Ami laga aim to hele pulai gana thakha to hele race to hele khatam hoble he.
I want to finish the race for Jesus Christ.
Itu pra Jisu Krista karne itu ami running race to